of Sports and Songs podcast. Today is August 29th, 2022. We're in season 3, episode number 21. Andy, how are you?
Episode 41.
Episode, what did I say?
21.
21. It's episode 41.
Yes.
Season 3, episode 41. You know, I'm coming off this cold. I'm not all there yet, I don't
These
think.
episodes just fly by anyway. So
This is our last episode of August. It's going to be September when we record again.
yes, we're coming up on our 4th anniversary.
Yes.
Or 4th season, I should say.
It's coming up. We're in high gear for amateur baseball.
Yes.
When the
Major
Twins,
League Baseball's been doing its thing.
Twins and the Mets are in the middle of the playoff contention. Gopher football starts on Thursday. The NFL is all wrapped up with their preseason 3 games. Now we're ready to kick things off. There's a lot going on. Where do you want to start, Andy?
Well, I'm just going to start with a little non-baseball stuff first.
Okay.
Little things getting going here. NASCAR ended their regular season over the weekend. If you're in the NASCAR and you're into it for the crashes, you were very excited watching the race Sunday. Going into it, Martin Truex Jr. was behind by 25 points over Rayleigh, and I said on Wednesday's show I thought Truex would pass him. He'd get 25 points to pass him. Well, things changed a little after that episode. Kurt Busch, who had qualified, pulled out. And so, because he's had some concussion issues, he pulled out. And so that opened another spot, or so we thought. So it came down to if someone knew won, they would take less, which is what happened. Austin Dillon ended up winning. Side story, Truex didn't pass Ryan for that last spot, but that didn't matter because a new guy won, which was the odd exception to the rule. So Austin Dillon made it. Congratulations to him. So 16 guys make it. How they do for their playoffs in NASCAR during the regular season. If you win, you're in. And then it's after that, guys with the best points. Well, Chase Elliott was the regular season winner. He won 4 races this year. Some of the guys won 2 and 3. There was that many different guys with one win. It was winners only in there. So if you didn't win a race, you're not in the playoffs this year. That's the way it worked out.
Okay.
Of the 16, they'll do 3 races a week, 3 races. Then they cut the list to 12. They do 3 more to 8. Then when you got the final 4, it's just 1 race for the championship. Now to clarify that, there are 16 guys in the playoffs, but all 38 drivers are still racing. So it's not just 16 guys. It's not narrowed down like that. So you still got the guys that can play spoiler in there. So there's still guys going for sponsorship next year, team points, stuff like that. So with the 16, their next races, and these are all consecutive weeks. There's no buys in here. They go, go, go. So starting on the 4th, it's at Darlington. The 11th are at Kansas, and the 17th they're at Bristol. All those races will be on the USA Network. Then when they cut it down to the round of 12, they're at Texas on the 25th, October 2nd, Talladega, and the 9th at Charlotte. The first one's on USA. Then after that, the rest of these will all be on NBC. When they get down to the round of 8, the 16th, it's at Vegas, October 23rd, Homestead, and October 30th, Martinsville. And then the final 4 is November 6th, 1 race at Phoenix for the championship.
Okay.
If you're writing these dates down or you look at the schedule, a lot of these are on a Sunday. So NASCAR is going up against the NFL. A lot of these races start like at 2:30. Now, before, it's always been kind of there, but Fox had the races they put on FS1. Okay. Or they put on Saturdays. They weren't going against the NFL. Since NBC don't have an NFL game till the night, they're laying it all out there. They're going to see what happens. So if the football game's getting boring, flip over to either USA or NBC and watch some NASCAR. If your team's not playing at that time, you had an option there. So that's my NASCAR news. The Wnba is in their second round of their playoffs, go up to the championships. The The Las Vegas Aces in a best of 5 are down 1-0 to the Seattle Storm. The Las Vegas Aces were the number 1 team. Well, them and the Chicago Sky each tied for number 1 best records. But I think the Aces are going to win it. Becky Hammon, first-year coach there. She got Coach of the Year, took all the coaching awards. The big thing about Becky Hammon being the first-year coach of Las Vegas Aces, she was an assistant for these last few years for the San Antonio Spurs under Greg Popovich. So no better coach in the NBA to be under. She actually coached the teams in the summer league games and preseason games she'd coach and stuff like that. But she took over as the WNBA Aces head coach in Las Vegas this year. Yeah, they're down 1-0 to Seattle, but it's best of 5. I'm not losing sleep over it. Chicago Sky, the other number 1 seed, is down 1-0 to the Connecticut Sun. 2 top teams, both down 1-0. Just relax. I'm not worried about that. A few baseball notes I got for you. One, I'm not a big guy into the knowledge of this, but I've heard this is going to be a big cluster, a big headache, a lot of bad words may be said here. Major League Baseball and the Major League Baseball Players Union want to extend all the union stuff all the way through the minors, which from what I'm kind of reading on some stuff now means one league strikes, they all strike. So what they're kind of wondering is, with the Major League Baseball players going, wait a minute, why should we hold out because some low A-ball team needs a new stadium or wants more fun? So they want to unionize the minors, but do they tie it out with the majors? Do they make it their own contracts? How does that work for an individual player's contract if he goes from pros to minors? So that's what they've thrown against the fan. We're going to see what happens.
Wow.
So those of you who follow unions might make more sense to you. As it gets closer, we may call you to explain all this to us because I don't know how sports union contracts go. But that's what they're kind of kicking around right now in Major League Baseball. And if that works or doesn't work, watch hockey to maybe follow suit with that. Football and basketball don't really have a minor league, so it's not an issue. Major League Baseball announced this year the Korea Series. November 9th through 16th, we'll be sending Major League Baseball players over to Korea to play against some of their players. No announcement yet who the players are going to be. I don't know if it's going to be our guys who've all announced for Team USA or how they're going to do that. The 9th through the 16th, this will be the first time since 1922 that Major League Baseball sent players to Korea to play. So we'll see how that works out, because Major League Baseball has announced what they want to do is a world tour. Between now and 2026, they want this world tour to consist of 24 regular season games. I think that includes the London games they're going to be doing next year again. And 16 exhibition games. These are going to be in Asia, Mexico, Latin America, and Europe. I know they want to do some games, and they're doing 2 games in Europe next year. Cubs and Cardinals, I think, next year. The London series. Mexico wouldn't be hard to swing down to Mexico City, or those Mexican leagues down in Mexico, so you got decent stadiums there. Wouldn't be hard to swing down there. You're not going to lose time like you do to London or something for games. So sneaking there won't be bad. See how that all works out. Major League Baseball also this week. The Mets had Old Timers Day. Surprisingly, at Old Timers Day, they retired Willie Mays as number 24. Willie only played like 2 years with the Mets. I don't know if this was in honor of Willie Mays, why they picked him and not out of nowhere like this. I don't know. Willie Mays, 91 years old, missed being there because he just had hip replacement surgery. So, because he only played the 2 years with the Mets, but his son Michael was there to represent for him. So the Mets have now retired number 24 also this year. Also this weekend, I shared the video on our social media. The Mariners retired Ichiro's number 51, which was a no-brainer. They showed an old video of him about 20-some years ago where Ichiro's going for a ball in the stand, foul ball over the stands, and he dives and just about lands in this lady's lap. And she's all excited. She's a big Ichiro fan. She thought that was the greatest thing in the world. What happened to be this weekend when they retired his number, they asked her to come throughout the first pitch.
Really?
She didn't know he was the one catching it. So she was all giddy again, so that was pretty exciting for her. But so the Mets had, like I said, they're retired 24 Ichiros. Seattle Mariners retired 51. I don't know if the Willie Mays thing is not a universal across the league deal. That's just with the Mets. So that's that one. And another thing I was looking at, of the 4 managers this year in Major League Baseball that have been fired, 2 of those teams are now in playoff contention. The Phillies got rid of Joe Girardi when they were 22 and 29. They're now in playoff contention. Joe Mann with the Angels, they're not. Charlie Montoya with the Blue Jays, they were at the time and still are in contention. In fact, they were 46 and 42 when they fired him. And Chris Woodward with the Rangers, they were 51 and 63, and they are still not in contention. Also, I got a couple other baseball notes here. Let's turn my pages here. The Mets right now, let me get my Mets soapbox here for a little bit. They are 3 games ahead of Atlanta, 9.5 ahead of Philadelphia. The Nationals have been mathematically eliminated. The Marlins should be eliminated the next week or two, mathematically, anyway. Some stats on this here. First of all, the Mets' magic number is 31 going into today. They and the Mets have like the second easiest schedule in the league left. They're playing teams below. Then the combined record is like 422 of the teams they got left, winning percentage. The Mets versus teams with a 500 or worse winning percentage, they're 37 and 29, which is a good thing for a first place team. But the Braves are 27 and 30, and Philadelphia is 29 and 34 against teams with the same record, below 500 record. I take that all with a grain of salt, because if you remember, until like right around the All-Star break, or before the All-Star break, the Mets were the only team above 500 in that division for a while. So I kind of take that with a grain of salt that Atlanta and Philly don't have winning records, but it is what it is there. But their record against National League East, which is the division they're in, the Mets are 43 and 19, the Braves are 32 and 22, and Philadelphia is 29 and 27. So I'm feeling confident there at the Mets. They got a little easier schedule. They got Carrasco coming off the DL here pretty soon. So this is their starters right now. And I'm going to throw Carrasco in there, even though he's on the injury reserve list. Bassett's had 24 starts. He's 11 and 7. DeGrom in 5 starts is 3 and 1. Peterson, 16 starts and 4 relief appearances, 7 and 3. Scherzer in 19 starts is 9 and 4. TJ Walker, 22 starts, he's 10 and 3. And then Carrasco in 23 starts is 13 and 5. Those are all very nice records for your starters, all above 500. I'll take any 5 of those any day of the week. What you're going to see a lot of, I think, though, with the Mets coming up for the rest of the season, I think they're going to keep it to 5, maybe a 6-man rotation. DeGrom's arm coming off, he didn't come back till 5 starts ago. You want to make sure Scherzer is healthy. Don't push these guys. Give them 5, maybe 6 days in between starts. Let's be fresh for playoffs. They got a 3-game lead. I'm not saying it's locked up and rest the starters. I'm not saying that. You got 5, 6 guys here that are very good starters. Almost any one of these would be at least a 2 or 3 on any other team in baseball. So why not take advantage of it? Let them all get some work in. So God forbid something happens in the playoffs, they're ready to go. You're good to go. Not worried about them with that. Very excited to see how it turns out. With that, what was I? I had one other note here, I think. AEW Wrestling. They're a big pay-per-view coming up this weekend, All Out in Chicago. Lots of stuff going on there. A lot of things being said backstage about different people. That's going to come up later this week, or I might wait till after All Out. I'll do a review of that and some backstage shenanigans, scuttlebutt going on there. But one match that hasn't been officially announced yet, but it will be Punk and Moxley will be going for the title. AEW hasn't put that on there yet, but I'm waiting for that to come out. I was wrong this week. I said MJF would return. He did not. If he does not return it All Out, I'd be very, very surprised. It's kind of the way all fingers are pointing there. This week there will be an AEW preview. Probably doing it Thursday after the show Wednesday night, see what all happens. And we'll go from there. One other note also, Steve Dunn of the Mets. He pitched with them in their first season, the 63-64 season. That young man was pitching at the Old Timers game this last weekend, so he's still out there doing it.
Wow.
And some folks are saying that when Big Sexy was out there, Bartolo Colon.
Oh, yes.
Bartolo was telling people, he goes, I'm not just here for the Old Timers game. He goes, I'm trying out. He still thinks he's got a little in the tank. Obviously, he can't be signed for the playoffs this year, but we'll see. Maybe he'll be up in the baseball classic coming up. Maybe they'll take him along as a player for the World Tours here, European Tour. We'll see what happens. But Big Sexy was looking good. Kind of sad to see some of your heroes, some 40 pounds heavier, some 10 pounds lighter, but all real gray, but that's the way it is. That's the way sad seeing all them get old. Sure glad I haven't. But that's what I got, young man. Like I said, football's wrapped up their preseason. The Baltimore Ravens were undefeated again in preseason to continue their streak of undefeated preseasons going back to 2015.
Wow.
Remember, Denny Green always thought winning every game in preseason was important too, and look at all the rings Denny got. So, and also I heard news today the San Francisco 49ers and Jimmy G did agree to a 1-year extension. So, that's what I got, sir. Town Ball was big this weekend. You have stuff on that?
Yes. What we've got for Town Ball is Class A is done. St. Louis Park won that. Class B, they're down to 4 teams left. Measville, Blaine, Champlin Park, and Rochester. Final 4. And going into this weekend now, that turns into a double elimination. You can lose and still fight back this weekend to play, but there's only 4 teams left. So that should be good, but not as good. Class B, that's some good baseball. They get fans, but boy, the Class C, what we've got a treat for us coming up this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Friday and Saturday, there's 16 teams left. Single elimination the whole way, which means 2 games on Friday. All the rest of the teams play their next game Saturday. Full slate of games in Measville, Dundas, Faribault. And of these final 16 teams, there is 7. There's still 7 teams in the top 10 final rankings for Class C before the playoffs started that are still alive. 7 of the 16 are top 10 teams. I mean, it includes Watertown, of course. Delano is in the hunt. New Ulm, St. Patrick. Those are top 5 teams in the state that are still in it. Those are the teams to watch. Those are the teams to look for. Jordan, on the outside looking in, I think they finished number 6. They're still in it. Waconia is still in it. Isanti is a top 10 ranked team. They're in it. So there are some Cinderellas out there, some teams that had some luck and the ball bounced their way. They're still in it. But the rubber's going to meet the road here on Friday and Saturday. Like I say, the losers go home. The winners play Sunday. There's 8 teams will play Sunday, 11 a.m. at one location or 2 locations, and then 1:30 at the other location. And so those are quarterfinal games. You win that, you play 4:30 on Sunday for the semifinals. And so now this is where your pitching comes into play. The teams that have the 3 draft picks that have not maybe used them yet, you're going to get in real fast here to a Saturday, 2 games Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and 1 game Saturday, 2 games Sunday, and then Monday's a championship game. And so it's going to get very interesting. Now, hopefully the weather will be fine. Well, there was weather again this last weekend. Measville had Dundas, Faribault, I think a couple inches of rain overnight, and they had to move some games, push them back. A lot of scrambling by the FDM group to do this. They moved a couple games to Waconia and played there and got them all in, including a 21-inning game last night that went.
Hats off to the boys in Waconia. Big tip of the cap to the boys in Waconia, getting the call at 11 p.m. to come out and get the fields ready. So good job to those guys.
And they had to get concessions ready, the field ready, gates, ticket takers, volunteers, announcers, public address, the whole deal going. So that's what happens in town ball baseball. It's a one tight-knit community, and whatever happens, you're a phone call away from making something happen. So now I'm assuming the weather will be good. I'm planning on taking in those games in Dundas on Saturday. There's a bunch of them. And then listening to the others on Sunday and Monday on the radio or on the prep NSPN.TV. They've got some very good coverage there of those games. Class B also. Big news coming up this weekend with all those games. Labor Day weekend is always the big culmination of town ball baseball. Now, over 35 baseball. The Senior Men's League is done. The Federal League is done. They got together this past weekend and played. The top 4 teams from each of these divisions got and played together up at Castle Field up at Anoka. East Metro Mammoth won it all again. Back-to-back titles. 3 straight years they've done this, and the Federal League champion the Federal League has won the World Series 3 straight years. The Senior Men's Association have gotten close, but they've not sent teams to the World Series and to make a statement. These are statement wins by the teams in the Federal League. Some have said that these guys at this level here could easily take on and play very competitively against any number of Class C amateur baseball teams right now. That's very interesting. That's a big statement to say that, but that goes to show how good these teams are. So over 35 baseball here, state of Minnesota is done. They're all wrapped up. We've got Twins. With August wrapping up, we got 1 month to go. The Twins are in the hunt with the White Sox and the Indians. Now, guess who the Twins have coming back? Unofficially, I guess, in the month of September. Kenta Maeda, potentially.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Bailey Ober will be back. We get 2 starters coming back here when the hunt really begins. They're getting some decent outings out of Bundy and Chris Archer, but it's really Ryan pushing the show, Joe Ryan, and it'll be helpful to see what happens when these other guys get back in the mix. Hopefully, injuries don't play a role, but who knows what happens? What's going to be with Byron Buxton? But White Sox are no slouch. Indians are leading the division right now. This will be some fun baseball to watch.
Who's leading?
Guardians.
There we go.
The Cleveland Guardians, baby.
Gotta be politically correct here on the show.
Gotta be politically correct. So that's coming up. Gopher football is Thursday night, the season opener against New Mexico State. Jerry Kill taking on PJ Fleck in the old Gopher head coach versus the new head coach. And then this next coming weekend with Labor Day is going to be a lot of football, college football, and after that, the weekend after that is NFL, and we're going to get 17 straight weeks of NFL football crammed down our throats here once Labor Day gets wrapped up. But the kids will be back to school. State Fair will be wrapping up. It's going to be college, high school, prep sports, soccer, football, volleyball is what we're going to really be focusing on here once baseball wraps up here. But that's what I've got, Andy.
There's been a little smack talk in the press about Jerry Kill if he's going to shake hands with Mr. PJ Fleck or not. So we'll see how that comes out.
There's some trash talk going on.
Yes. So we'll have to see.
That'll be a good game. I will watch that. The Gophers, defense is I think in the top 10 in the nation, and their offense or their rushing. Yep. They've got they lost some of the offensive linemen from last year into the NFL draft, but this team should be good. They don't have much weaknesses. They're good on offense, special teams, offense, defense.
If you like a passing offense, don't watch the Gophers. There'll be a lot of running, I think, this year.
It's smash mouth running. Everyone's healthy now who's back from the running attack. Mo Ibrahim, quarterback, 5th year. It'll be fun to watch. And a lot of Gophers fans have them picked or predicted to win or be in contention for that West title. And so that could be interesting.
We had our Big Ten college preview show last week. Go back and see that if you haven't already. Thank you, Mr. Jeremy Quas, for giving us your professional, compared to us, professional opinion.
and like what Jeremy Quas said is, if Michigan wins the East and the Gophers win the West, you could have a battle. You could have the Little Brown Jug battle in Indianapolis.
I wonder if that would be in play then for the Big Ten title, since they don't play
I think they'd have to get it out. You know, they only play those guys once every 3 or 4 years now. So
yeah,
that's something that he brought up on the broadcast. And
yeah, I have to
it
see
should
how
be
that
fun
works.
to watch. The Gophers, they got 3 non-conference games. They kick off with Michigan State. Vikings kick off with the Packers on September 11th, nationally televised game. That should be good. Fun time of the year, of course, Andy. Fun time of the year.
The only bad thing about a Gopher Michigan finals means I'd have to be cheering for Michigan this year to make it. I just don't know if I can do that.
It'll be interesting.
It'll be tough. But yeah, baseball's heavy. Football's starting up. College football, pro football camps are opening up at colleges and high schools for their sports. High school football, all those kids. It's busy.
Fun this time of year. Labor Day coming up here. Have a good weekend, everyone. That's all I've got here for sports. Anything else, Andy?
No, just watch us for the songs episode this weekend, and some fun stuff coming up in November. We'll try different awesome. Midweek shows between the two of us.
All right, everyone. Have a good week.
See ya.